Hello there. Good evening, everybody. It's about 5 o'clock here in my office preparing for our Sunday service. But I wanted to reach out to our students here this evening and just share a word with you guys. First of all, it was awesome. For those of you that gathered with us last night for youth group, that was such a blessing. Such a weird and kind of interesting time, but really, really great. And I am very thankful for the ways that we can gather. I'm thankful for the ways that we can connect, even if it's a little bit different. So that's where I think I want to lead us a little bit today with some thoughts if you catch us here on Instagram or on YouTube when we upload these later. But I have some thoughts that I've been wrestling with for a while. That I think we are in a unique time in a lot of senses. There's unprecedented closures and restrictions and behaviors that are just throwing us all for a loop. And here's where I think our mind naturally goes. When we enter into times like this, where things are closing, kind of one after another, being postponed, being canceled, where our focus can begin to become. Our focus can begin to be directed towards all the things that we can't do. Can begin to be focused towards all the ways that we feel like we're not allowed to live. Maybe we spend our days thinking about all the things at our schools that got canceled. Maybe we've spent our days thinking about all the ways that we can't be with certain friends or family. Maybe we wake up in the morning and there's just this overwhelming feeling of, I just can't. And while these thoughts and behaviors are perfectly natural, because for a lot of us, our lives are turned upside down. There's a whole lot of can't in our lives. There's a whole lot of uncertainty, a whole lot of inability to be able to do the things that we want to do. But I was really moved yesterday. I was talking to a friend about what it meant to fix our eyes upon other things. He was talking about living from a spirit of gratitude, one that acknowledged, instead of the things that we can't do, began to focus and acknowledge the things that we can, the things that we have. Amidst all of this, it's undeniable that we are living in a time that is unprecedented. Living in a time where we can't do a lot of things. But in this time, I think there is an alternative way to think and to live. For some of us, we can choose to focus on all the things we can't, all the things that we're not allowed to do. But instead, if we repositioned ourselves to begin to just ask the question, what are the things that we have? What are the things that we're allowed to do? I heard this statistic yesterday that 25% of the world sleeps on a mattress. It's like blown away thinking about that. That as restricted as my wife and I are at home, not able to go out and do all the things we want to do, we have a bed. We have a roof over our heads as it's raining outside. We have food in our pantry. Well, it might be a little sparser than normal, might not be able to find all the things that we want to. We may have to be a little scarce in the way that we use things. We have so much. And so here would be my first invitation for you tonight, is that as you enter into your evening, thinking about maybe the things that you can't do, the things you weren't able to do today that you might have wanted to, instead would you pause and make a list of all the things that you can do? Maybe it begins with just the things that you have that you're grateful for. And then here's where that leads us. When we as people begin to focus not on the can'ts, but on the cans, not on the have-nots, but on the haves, we begin to be invited to give those things over to God and say, God, what would you do with all of these things? It reminds me of the story found in the Gospels where this little boy comes forward to Jesus and he hands him his lunch, his fish and loaves of bread, this small, insignificant offering. And rather than focusing on all the things that he did not have, he looked at the one small thing that he had and he said, God, what would you do with this? And God began to move. And that story tells an unbelievable story of a time in which God provided. And here's what I'm convinced of in this time, even when there's a whole lot of can'ts, a whole lot of inability to do the things that we're really comfortable doing, that God is still inviting us to do something. And it begins with a spirit of gratitude, saying, God, thank you for these things. And so today I'm thankful for a bed. I'm thankful for a family that I can call and talk to on the phone. I'm grateful that I have food tonight. I'm grateful that I still have a job. There's a lot of things that I'm grateful for. And what I do is say, God, here's these things that I'm thankful for. How can you use them? And when you begin to do that, God will begin to reveal to you the ways in which you can continue to faithfully follow. Thanks for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.